Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at the 10 smallest countries in the world. There are almost 200 countries on Earth, and when people say the word country, you probably think of a massive area. However, some countries are so small they could be mistaken for villages or something even smaller. These places have their own governments, their own rules, and are amazing, so let's take a look. But before we get into it, be sure to subscribe to Top 10s and why not press the notification bell too. Coming in at number 10 we have Malta. We're starting off with this tiny country which is 316 square kilometers. Malta is one of the smallest countries and is located on a beautiful island. The country has a population of around 450,000 people, which is less than the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico. So Malta is one of the smallest countries, but it's not got such a small population. This means that it's actually one of the most densely populated countries on Earth. As a result, there's not much land which isn't used and it's kind of cramped. The areas around the island may have to be built out of soon in order to account for all the people in this place. However, despite it being such a small country, it's also pretty rich, as tourists love it. People come from all over the world for the sun, beaches, history, and the parties which happen at night. The country is tiny and many natives actually move to larger surrounding countries as there's more jobs there. Would you ever want to visit this tiny country? It may be small, but remember, it's only number 10 on the 10 smallest countries on Earth. Next up is Maldives. Now this country is another island and is the smallest country in the whole of Asia at 300 square kilometers. It not only has the least land out of any Asian country, it also has the smallest population. The population is around 400,000, which is similar to Kansas City, Missouri. The country is made up of over 1,192 islands, which makes it the most spread out country in the world. The country was a part of the British Empire until they finally gained their independence in 1965. However, despite its tiny size, this is a very popular location for tourism. People go to see the amazingly blue waters in the area. This is due to a lack of pollution, as there's no factories here and the population is very small. You can actually drive across the entire country in around 4 hours. Just imagine doing that anywhere else. After seeing images of this place, I'd love to give it a visit, even though it does kind of look like the island from Lost. Next up is St. Kitts and Nevis. This place sounds like two countries, but it's actually just one. However, it's a super small country at 261 square kilometers. The country was actually the first ever Caribbean country discovered by Europeans. It may be a small place, but it does have a lot of amazing marine life. The fish here are some of the most rare and beautiful in the world. The country used to make its money from exporting sugar, however this is now mainly Brazil's trade. The places where sugar plantations were are now mostly estates, owned by rich people and large hotels. The country only has a population of 34,000 people, and they make most of their money from tourism. It's a big tourist destination, especially for rich Americans who like to splash the cash at their restaurants and bars. And it's also a very popular place for divers thanks to all the rare coral and fish. This place may be small, but when it comes to a country, perhaps size doesn't matter. Next up is Marshall Islands. This one is probably very close to home for many of you watching. This place is not only one of the smallest countries, coming in at 181 square kilometers, it's also one of the most dangerous countries in the world. It's located in the Pacific Ocean halfway between Hawaii and Australia. But what makes this place so dangerous? Well, it used to be used as a test site for missiles during the Cold War. The US military would test out explosions on the island and its waters before they were approved. This makes the island a very toxic place, which is why the population is only around 54,000 people. The US has paid out over $2 billion to these people due to the damage they faced from the nuke tests there. This is one place tourists never go, but what does go here is some amazing wildlife. There's over 800 species of fish and 200 species of coral in the area. It's also known for a huge number of shipwrecks in the area, which the local kids love to play on. Wow, this island really is full of danger. Do you think the beauty of this place outweighs the danger? And would you take a trip here? I just hope the US doesn't use this place to test nukes against North Korea. Next up is Liechtenstein. This is a tiny country that you may never have heard of. It's 160 square kilometers and is the only country in the world which is 100% in the Alps. It's located between Switzerland and Austria, and the language is German. However, this country's smallness in size and population has its benefits. Liechtenstein is the richest country by GDP and has the lowest rate of unemployment in the world at 1%. This is mainly because of its tiny population of around 37,000 people. However, if you want to get into this place and make it big in Liechtenstein, well, that could be tricky. There is no airport to this country, so you'd have to fly to Zurich Airport in Switzerland and make your own way there. This place is very beautiful, however it's not very modern. And the country is still ruled by a prince and has been ruled by the same royal family for hundreds of years. This place is so subtle and tucked away, but honestly sounds like an awesome place to visit if you're able to get in. Next up is San Marino. Now we've seen some small countries, but this one is seriously small at 61 square kilometers. It's surrounded by Italy and is known as the oldest sovereign state in the world. Like Liechtenstein, it also has one of the best GDPs per capita in the world. This is the 5th smallest country in the world, but it's the 3rd smallest in Europe. Its population is a tiny 30,000 people, and it has one of the lowest rates of unemployment in the world. Of course, that isn't really too hard seeing as they have such a tiny population. The amazing thing about this country is the views you get from it. It's pretty much all located on one tall mountain, and from it you can see across the whole country as well as into Italy too. The president also lives in what's called Gaeta, which is the country's fortress and castle. This is an amazing historic place with the best views in the whole country. However, despite this place being so good, it's very out of the way, and as a result it's the least visited country in Europe. And some people who come here are simply visiting Italy and don't realize they've gone into a new country. Would you want to go to this place? Next up is Tuvalu. Now this country is crazy tiny, coming in at just 26 square kilometers. This place used to be known as Ellis Island and is located in the Pacific Ocean. It's just northeast of Australia, but unlike Australia, the place is totally tiny. There's only 8 kilometers of roads here and only around 2,000 cars. This is because the population of this country is only around 10,000 people. There's only one hospital and only a handful of shops. Like Maldives, this was part of the British Empire, however in 1978 they finally gained their independence. It's also very hard to get to the country, meaning there's not much tourism. The country mainly makes its money from farming and fish. The country only gets around 2,000 visitors per year, and 1,600 of them come for business. However, if you do go to this unknown and small country, then you can be sure to see some beautiful sights there. The bright blue water around the island looks like a screensaver. Would you want to go to this place? And no, I don't mean for business like the other 65% of their visitors. Next up is Nauru. This island is located off the east coast of Australia. It's the smallest island country in the world and is only 21 square kilometers. Their population is around 14,000, but it is actually growing. In the 1980s, this country was a big place for phosphate mining. However, now the phosphate has all been mined and this small island remains unknown. Very few tourists go here and it's a beautiful place which was previously called Pleasant Island. However, the unemployment rate is 90%, with the remaining 10% being employed by the government. This is because of the mines closing down, making this country the worst employment in the world. They're also known for their helicopter landing pad out in the sea. The country is the most obese in the world, with 97% being. This also makes the country the worst when it comes to having the highest rate of type 2 diabetes. This is because it's very poor, so people can't afford to have good quality food shipped over. This country has its problems, but hopefully this tiny island will become great again. Next up we have Monaco. This country, located on the French Riviera, is only 2 square kilometers. This makes it the 2nd smallest country in the world. Its nickname is the Billionaires' Playground. This is because it has the highest number of millionaires and billionaires per capita in the world. It's famous for its supercars, amazing nightlife, and parties. There are Lamborghinis and Ferraris on every street and mega yachts in the marina. It's surrounded by France and the Mediterranean Sea, which means it's easy to get to. However, it's also a hotspot for criminals, and many illegal things were imported here from the Mediterranean Sea. Many rich French gangsters also go to this place, meaning it's one spot for luxury. This is why it's also known for casinos, luxury stores, and even car dealerships. Does anyone else want to visit the Las Vegas of Europe? But one thing's for sure, this country is a densely populated area with over 36,000 people living in it. This makes it the most densely populated country in the entire world. And of course, if you go at the right time, you can see the famous annual F1 race that goes right through the country. Next up is Vatican City. This place is very famous and is the smallest country on the planet. It's located within the capital city of Italy, which is Rome. The country is only 0.44 square kilometers and is one of the most important places in the world to Catholics. This place may be small, but it's home to the largest church in the world. This is because it's the center of the Catholic Church. The country's income comes from the over 1 billion members of the religion around the world, meaning this is one rich country. Despite the residents paying no taxes, all of the donations make this country run smoothly. It's almost like a crowdfunded country. The population of this place is only 451, making it the smallest in the world. And in the past 20 years, the population here has halved, meaning this may soon become the least populated country on Earth. Would you ever want to visit the Vatican City? Before we end off, I have one more amazing fact on this video for you. Did you know that all of these 10 smallest countries fit into an area smaller than the city of Houston, Texas? So, all of these countries are not even as big as a single city. That is insane. Check out the poll in the top right corner and vote for the country you'd want to go to the most. And be sure to check out my second channel, The Crafty. There'll be a link to that on screen in a moment, so click it to check it out. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.